Hello, my name is Christian. I'm from TrendConsult in Austria, and I have been given the task to upload you a video that explains us our latest use of TransferLogix in the context of creating competency models for clients. So let me give you a brief overview of the client showcase we recently had. Our client is a large industrial company from Switzerland, and we had the task to identify behaviors that clearly describe what a disciplined leader in this organization does day by day on the job. So we had to use for this their definition of discipline and leadership and make it more specific. As a second part of the task, we had also to identify the skills gap in living those behaviors of a leader and the importance of certain behaviors they haven't still defined so far. So the definition of leadership discipline is a very generic definition, and our task was to make it more specific. So let me introduce this definition to you. So they say a leader in their organization needs to have a professional and responsible approach to decision-making and their execution, as well as to ethics and intercultural management and to the productive use of their resources. As well, it includes also to be a professional time manager and great at planning and a transparent communicator. But if you look at those generic 5 components of the definition of leadership discipline, they are very general, and it doesn't give us an answer what this person really does. How do you observe, how do you know that someone deals responsible and professional with ethics and intercultural management, for example? How do you know this? You need some observable behaviors, and that exactly was a part of the workshop we ran with their management team. In the first half of the workshop, we organized them into an open space session where each station of the open space had one component of their definition of leadership discipline they had to work on. And what they did is they defined behaviors for those 5 components. They defined what does someone do who, for example, is a role model for ethics and intercultural management. So they had to use all their collective brain power to find those behaviors, and because it was an open space setting, they could move around from one station to another and put their individual input there. When they believed they were ready with station number 1, they moved on to station number 2 and could, for example, improve what was written there by others. For example, it was very hard for them to include verbs into a behavioral objective, that it has something to do with doing something and not he communicates transparent. Maybe you can make it more precise. And well, that was the first part of the exercise. While they were on lunch break, what we did is we uploaded into the new behavioral objectives module of TransferLogix the behaviors that identified for each of the 5 components of leadership discipline. So as they returned from the lunch break, we had set up 10 different needs assessment surveys for each participant. Everyone had to take each component and to fill out the survey regarding the skills gap and the survey regarding the job task analysis. So one skills gap for decision-making and execution, and at the same time a job task analysis, and so on for all the 5 components. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how this looks in TransferLogix. See you later. Bye-bye. So let's go back now to TransferLogix, and let me show you how we managed to create very easily a competency model in TransferLogix. So as you maybe know, the behavioral objectives module was largely improved recently, and now it's possible to build categories for behavioral objectives. For our workshop, where we had to define 15 behaviors for 5 categories out of their definition of discipline and leadership, we built 5 different folders in TransferLogix that were all summarized under a top folder called Discipline and Leadership. So what you see here is the top folder, Discipline and Leadership, and the 5 different subfolders like making decisions, ethics and intercultural management, use of productive resources, time management and planning, and transparent communication. The next step is all the computers we had in the open space were all connected to the same spreadsheet document in Google Docs. So we had 5 tabs, and each tab was a different component of discipline and leadership. So when they were ready with the open space, we could easily save this Google Doc as an Excel and could import from Excel the different behaviors. So when you now go down into the categories, you see the different behaviors they have defined. And I would like to detail a little bit more on ethics and intercultural management, because this to me seems one of the most difficult behaviors to define, as use of resources or making decisions may be a little bit more close to what we anyways do very consciously day by day. Right? For example, in ethics and intercultural management, they say here, it's all in German, but I will translate it for you, that I treat everyone as I would like to be treated. I'm politely, I let them speak, I listen to them, and I don't make any disrespectful comments. Or the other one that was very interesting, we are all dealing as role models, and we are being attentive to unethical behavior, and we take the appropriate measures if there is an unethical behavior. So let us have a look now and to the result. So in the moment the participants have completed the needs assessment surveys, we sent them to a coffee break, and meanwhile we printed out the needs assessment reports. So that was a very impactful session, because in the same day they went through definition of behaviors. After lunch break they could rate the behaviors, and in the evening they had the printed out needs assessment reports ready, where they saw exactly where is the skill gap, what are those behaviors that make the definition of discipline leadership more precise, and they could see which are the ones they have rated being important. So let us go now to the needs assessments. So if you have a look again at ethics and intercultural management, you will see here first the skill gap analysis. So the behavior that we have seen first, we are dealing as role models, and we address unethical behavior, and we take appropriate measures. If we see unethical behavior, as well as defined as the biggest skills gap to see at the moment in the organization. So let's have a look where the same behavior is in the job task analysis. So we go back to the needs assessments and go again to the assessment that was for ethic and intercultural behaviors, and here is the job task analysis. So it is seen by them we are dealing as role models, and we address unethical behavior. It's at the same time seen by them as one of those behaviors that has a really high importance, and it's shown with a medium frequency. So the reports that you get at the end of such a day are very impactful, and they help you to find together with your client the right measures and the right interventions that you can upsell after such a day of consultancy with your client. So if you have any further questions to this showcase, please feel free to contact me. My email address, christian.pauls@trendconsultgroup.com, or you will find me also on the partners intranet of LTS Global. Thank you very much and have a good day.